Comments. No sound.
Okay, let us know if it's fixed.
Let us know if it's fixed. Tammy, friend of the channel.
Tammy Price, friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel. Okay, we got the thumbs up for the EP executive producer that we have sound there. So, well, there you go. There you go, AJ. That's twice I've done that now.
We're killing it.
We're killing it.
We're killing it.
All right. You are looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here for the DNA Sports Recap. If you are watching us on the live stream, we'd love for you to jump into the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, and please feel free to comment as the show goes so we can interact with you guys, because that's one of the main reasons why we went live on this one.
Absolutely.
Other than the fact that it's a lot easier in editing to get the full episode up. But
that has nothing to do with it. We appreciate you guys.
It has nothing to do with it. That's right. But yeah, before we get into the rest of the show, let's go ahead and do a pre-show cheers.
Yep.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you, my friends.
So on the day's docket, we're going to talk some college football, some Utah Jazz, and some MLB. That's going to be what's on the Rocket docket today.
Love it.
So we're going to get into that. Do you want to jump into the podcast intro and kind of go from there?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the DNA Sports Recap. We are 1 week away from Utah kicking off against Southern Utah University. How are we feeling about that?
The Utah Jazz will be targeting somebody in the 2025 draft. Who do we think they should get?
In Major League Baseball, MLB is trying to introduce a 6-inning minimum rule. All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing great, buddy. Doing great. How are you?
I'm living the dream here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. We are on what is called week 0, by the way.
Yes.
I don't understand why this week 0 thing is a thing. Apparently Delaware is playing Hawaii this week, and it's
tune in.
It's something going on there.
Yeah, I
really
love
interesting story, by the way. Did you realize they were talking about on the radio this morning that a flight from JFK to Hawaii is 10 hours and 45 minutes long?
Ouch, dude. That is brutal.
You can fly from here to Moscow faster than you can fly
from Delaware to Hawaii.
Delaware to Hawaii. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they actually missed their flight because a couple people didn't get on the bus because they had to do a 3-hour bus ride to get to JFK to fly out. So yeah, they were 2 days delayed.
They're just losing all around.
Yeah, they're getting paid a bunch of money. You think they'd show up on time to fly out to Hawaii?
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we want to go ahead and talk a little bit about college football. We're going to talk a little bit about your University of Utah football. But before we get into that, do you have any take on why BYU has not announced a starting quarterback yet?
Probably because they don't have one.
That's kind of the prevailing. At this point,
they don't have anybody that's capable of being a starter is probably some of the issue.
I'm thinking just Kalani Sitake's just trolling people right now to actually give himself a little bit more importance that his team actually has by not announcing a starter yet.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, McKinley.
I mean, the problem is these guys have, I mean, Kalani Sitake is on the hot seat. It don't matter who you are. I'm sure BYU fans even feel the same way, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't had some great seasons. He's got to make sure that whoever he puts in that starting role and those guys get out there and go out against is ready to go.
Yeah.
And he's going to use every single second that he can to make sure that that quarterback is the right guy for the job.
For sure.
So,
yeah, it's pretty funny. It seems to be like a weekly thing where they give their press conference and still the quarterback battle is in high heat there. I know they have a senior and they have an incoming first year or junior. I'm thinking a transfer or something like that. I don't know. BYU fans, let us know in the comments down below. If we're off on that. But let's go ahead and talk about our boys up on the hill, shall we?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So first of all, before we get to that, we are about a little bit by the time this comes up, we're about a week away from Utes kicking off against Southern Utah. How are you feeling, my friend?
I mean, I'm feeling good. This is a great game. I mean, the fact is the last time these two teams met, the final score was 73-7.
Okay.
So that was in 22. Obviously, Cam Rising is on his second run to a Pac-12 title at this point. I mean, we still have Tavion Thomas on the team. He's splitting carries with Chris Curry and Jalen Glover. Like Bryson Barnes even makes an appearance in this game and goes 6 for 6 for 100 yards.
That's right.
So this game can go. This game's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tall task for Southern Utah for sure.
Yeah, I mean the talent levels on these two teams is obviously completely different. SUU's, they're a program just looking to compete. They moved into the WAC a couple of years ago.
Good signs for them though is that this is their coming off their first winning season.
Yeah, went 6-5 last year, which is pretty good.
4-2 in conference too.
Yeah, yeah. Really so I mean, they're rebuilding this program. They're working on it. These guys got a tough schedule, man. I mean, SUU opens up against ASU, then or obviously Utah, ASU, BYU. Like,
yeah, they're just getting those checks, man.
Yeah, I mean,
getting those paydays, covering that team.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was actually the previous season.
Still last year.
Yeah,
still the same.
but
that's an impressive schedule. I think it's pretty impressive for that. Southern Utah. First of all, Southern Utah coming up here and playing our boys on the hill there is always great. I always love that. What is your primary goal for this first game one? Give me your thoughts on that real quick. Go ahead.
I mean, I think most importantly, we want to see Cam Rising go out there, and if there's any rust to be shaken off, we want him to shake it off. Right? We want to get it. We want to see him get out there, get the ball up the field, get the offense rolling, and then get him out of there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's let Isaac Wilson take some snaps and command the offense and do all the things that we think he's capable of doing, and then let's go.
Yeah. Can you believe it's been a year and a half since he last took a snap?
That is
for the University of Utah.
That is absolutely insane. It kind of hurts my soul.
Brant Keefe's almost 2 years since he last took a snap for the University of Utah. Almost 2 years. We're going to go ahead and jump in the comments real quick here. We got McKinley. We actually were just talking about you, McKinley, on pre-show. Glad you joined us on a Wednesday, by the way. We really appreciate that. We're trying to keep it on Wednesday, but you're one of our regulars there on a Thursday for sure. Let's see here. Can you read that?
It says, yeah, we were pretty hyped about the Kalani Sitake hire when it happened, but it has been a mixed bag for the coaching tenure. A little more bad than good the last 2 years. Defense has kept the team relevant. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And what's really funny about that is you guys just need to find your Ryan Smith, man. That's what you need to go out there and do. I don't know if Alex Smith is the guy. I don't know who it is. I don't know. But you guys just need to go out there and find your Ryan Smith. Find that billionaire who's going to dump some money in the program and really push things forward for the football program, like they're doing for basketball. It seems like they're kind of pushing all their chips in the middle for basketball.
We did a video on that too.
Yeah, we definitely did a video on that. So yeah, we'd love to, 100%, man. I don't know. To your point, I think you called it a couple of videos ago that he's on the hot seat. He's going to get fired up this year. That he's going to be the defensive coordinator for Utah
once back.
Yeah, once Whittingham retires.
Back in red.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty funny. We do have another comment here. We have a thumbs up from Aaron. Appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you for chiming in there.
Appreciate you tuning in, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the engagement there. Hopefully that thumb was probably because our audio is working now. So
yeah,
that's great.
I know Mr. Henry. He's a good dude.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we also have another backup here. Let's see here. But on the offensive side of the ball, he has been really disappointing. Yeah. I just think he's a defensive-minded head coach, and he's just, I just don't think he's got the right, OC in there. I just don't think he's had really the right mix. I don't know if it's a lack of talent.
I mean, Aaron Roderick's the previous OC for Utah.
Yeah,
and the Utes offense really struggled under him because it's like he can't decide whether he's going to be a pro-style offense or primarily rush the ball. And I feel like that's kind of been BYU's problem these last couple of years is like, are you throwing it or are you running it? Right. You know what I mean? Like you've got guys that are probably capable of pass protecting or run protecting, and they're doing neither. Right. So really tough.
It is really tough. And yeah, we're definitely rooting for you guys there because nothing would be better for the Big 12 conference to have both BYU and Utah at the top of that conference.
Yeah.
Really represent the state. So love to see it. So you want to hear my primary goal for this game against SUU?
Yes.
My primary goal is to get everybody off the field healthy.
Yes. Jeez, yes. Absolutely. I mean, it's the most important thing. I mean, we struggled it. We fought it. It was a really tough year last year because every single time we turned around, somebody was hurt. One of our primary playmakers was off the field. And it just, kind of continued to spiral down. So yeah, you absolutely nailed it. If we can get everybody off the field healthy, I'll take it. It's a win. Yeah, those first two things I talked about when it came to that is the fact that it's been over a year and a half since Cam took a snap, and it's been over almost 2 years since Brant Keefe
was in a play for the University of Utah. So
Yeah.
getting those people in the game, getting some reps, getting up to game speed, and then getting them off the field, is kind of the key piece there.
Yep.
My secondary goal for this team is to get a 21-point lead and then let Isaac get some snaps in the second half. Basically, just kind of run the second half from there.
They should have a 21-point lead by the end of the first quarter.
I don't want to be too ambitious. I thought 21 would be a conservative thing, but yeah, if they don't, I'm going to be kind of, I don't know. What was the final score last time?
73-7.
73-7. Weren't we at that game?
I feel like we were at that game.
I think we were at that game.
Yeah. And I think we left like in the middle of the third because we're like, I think this one's pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think that's where I got that hat actually right behind you.
Oh, yeah.
I got that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So props out to the team store there on campus. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be it's just good. It's just going to be good to have college football, back in, playing.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready for
college
college
football
to start. Yeah.
Tailgating.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
Yep.
Be a good time.
I'm ready. Bring it.
Time. Absolutely. Love it. Want to see it. Can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. What are you looking forward to when it comes to week 1 in college football? I believe, again, this first snap is not again going to be till next week, but by the time we get this video out for next week, the game will already have had happened. So
yeah,
we wanted to really pick today to be kind of the day that we really talked about it. So we also have another comment here. This one is from Aaron. Bring it. Love it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Love
sir.
it.
And Aaron's a Michigan fan, so
nice.
He could potentially have a very rough season ahead of him. Let us know what you think, Aaron.
Hey, I think I had him in my runner-up video.
Yeah, he did.
I had them as my runner-up for that. But still have a shot, puncher's chance of getting into the college football playoff.
Absolutely.
For sure. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked out that video, please be sure to check it out. It's going to be somewhere. We'll put it somewhere in the description of this video or something like that. We'll link that up.
Absolutely.
All right. So you want to go ahead and pivot on over to a little bit of Utah Jazz?
I do.
Okay. So
I do. That's Utah Jazz is where my heart is.
Is it?
Always.
Okay.
Do you not believe me?
No, I believe you.
Jeez.
You're just holding on to the left-hand side of your. You're just holding on to the left-hand side of your.
There's
chest.
a microphone in the way.
So just so you know, you're part of the old world. You're part of the old universe with me. The new universe. It's dead center.
Oh,
have you heard about this? The Mandela effect.
No.
Your heart moved. Remember when you were a kid, when you were raised, it was put your hand over. Like,
the left side of your chest. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's now here. This is where it is. Yeah, it's really weird. Mandela effect. Look it up.
We're talking like basic human anatomy tells you that it's not there.
Yeah, super, super crazy.
It's fine.
But anyway, we're getting ready to do a color change here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do the intro. Let's go ahead and talk about your Utah Jazz. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about something I've seen a lot of videos about. I don't know if you've seen as many as I've seen on YouTube recently about the Jazz basically blowing it by not trading Lauri Markkanen. Have you seen these?
I have seen some of these.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to kind of do as Utah fans and as representative of the Utah, independent media, podcast, fan base type thing here. I feel like we need to put the narrative forward about why we didn't trade Lauri.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and run your line? Why do you think the Utah Jazz did not trade Lauri Markkanen?
Okay. My line is I don't know if I'm even convinced that the Jazz were ever going to trade Lauri. To be completely honest with you, I just don't think. I think that putting Lauri on the market gave the Jazz a good idea of the value of Lauri for contract negotiations. Unfortunately, I think every other team in the league knew this. You know what I mean? All they were trying to do was gather a valuation of Lauri so that they knew how much they needed to pay him. Is he going to be a max? Is he going to be just under a max?
Mm-hmm.
They needed to know where he was going to be at. And the only way you can do that is to put out into the universe that Lauri's on the market. Right. We will potentially move him. The fact is the Jazz have a player that wants to be here. They knew that they needed to be right around that $200 million deal. He didn't necessarily demand a full-blown max contract.
No.
Because they justified that in his, in his trade market.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get any deals that were overwhelming that they couldn't take, which tells you, okay, that's not a max deal.
Right.
If they can say no to it, then it's not max deal worthy, in my opinion. But I mean, the fact is the Jazz have somebody here that is willing to grow with this young team. He likes it in Salt Lake City. You know what you do with a guy like this? You keep him. I mean, that's all there is to it, right? You pay that man, you start digging into pieces that you can put around him, and you put the best possible options. We know that Larry may not be the number one guy on a championship team.
No, I think we're okay with that.
And we're absolutely okay with that. But we need to know that, can he get to the next level, right? Because he still needed to make one more level to even be like the number 2 guy on a championship team.
Right.
So can we get pieces around him that'll unlock that next level by having some quality offensive players, some quality defensive players? The fact is Laurie has to do every single thing, every single minute he's in the game, because he doesn't have pieces around him right now that are really helping him every single minute in the game. So if we can get quality players on both sides of the floor, there's just a huge difference for, a player that's playing this hard because you have to, and because you want to. You know what I mean? Like, want to is a big thing. And I think that's what Laurie is, but he also has to at this point, because we don't have enough talent around him. The only reason the Jazz are winning these games is strictly because of that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I want to make sure we hit up some comments here before we get into it. Just simply because I want to make sure we get back to it. We're going to get back into the comment there about the Jazz, because thank you, McKinley, for doing that. We'll get into those. Aaron did want to make one more comment here. Yes, go Big Blue. AJ, I hope this is not like a Rich Rodriguez season.
Sorry to jump back to the topic, but yeah, I think they made a choice to keep him, build around him. Yeah,
no, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Sharon Moore signing was a great deal. I mean, I think that was the best possible choice for Michigan, Aaron, to be completely honest with you.
No, I agree. I think, I don't know, man. I think they did enough winning without Harbaugh on the sidelines to prove that they are still a legitimate threat in that conference.
And the fact is, it's all about building morale, and it's really hard to build morale around a new coach. I think Sharon Moore had enough knowledge of the system that they were currently running, offensively and defensively, that he can kind of keep things the same. He doesn't have a ton of turnover. Yeah, he's got to bring in some coordinators and stuff like that, but he has the basis and a very talented program to continue Michigan winning football games.
100% agree. That's why they're in my tier there for sure. Definitely believe Michigan. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get back into it when it comes to Larry Markkanen. So we've got a comment here from McKinley. Let's see. One, I think Larry flexed his leverage and told other teams that he didn't want to be traded. Yeah, very true. Very true. By not signing specifically on that, that's literally saying, yeah, I don't want to be traded.
Yeah.
At least into the end of the season. That kind of where he kind of put himself there. 2, you also mentioned the best offer apparently was Moody and picks, not enough for the Jazz to move him.
Not a chance.
Yeah, definitely not. It just like you mentioned with Danny Ainge Danny Ainge will only let you win now or win later. He won't let you do both when it comes to trading for his star player for sure. And then we also have the third thing there from McKinley there. 3, we can still tank if it's Laurie and the kids.
It's a great way to say it too.
Yeah. It's hard to find a player this good that wants to stay in Utah. Absolutely. We talked about it last week where the Utah Jazz had a hard time keeping even Gordon Hayward, a white kid who's married, with kids, who just wants to stay home and play video games all day. You can't get that kid to stay here in Utah.
Because Gordon didn't want to be here.
No, he didn't want to be here.
That was the reason he took the contract in Boston. The Jazz offered him, almost exactly the same contract, max.
Yeah, exactly. So they could have offered him more. And I just think that he made his decision before he even got there. So,
and then he ruined my July 4th. That's what he did.
Actually, I didn't really worry. I wasn't worried about it because I knew
I was so heartbroken. I actually remember where I was. I remember exactly where I was when I got the notification on my phone.
I remember exactly where I was when I heard on the radio for the first time. I was on Banner Highway, heading down south, heading up to Bar Dame Sioux for a completely different reason, not to drown my sorrows or anything like that. But I remember exactly where I was. I'm like, yep, that's what I knew. I freaking knew it, man. I knew there's no way, in God's green earth that he was re-signing with Utah. Yeah. Absolutely none. And the fact that the Utah Jazz felt that they had an upper hand on that.
See, and I'd convinced myself he was staying.
Yeah, see, there's just no shot.
I was like, he's got it. We got it. We can offer more money than anybody else. You're a basketball player. You're here to make money.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to be here?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of see how he would always want to be. He wanted to be paid like the man, but he didn't want to be the man on the court.
And that's exactly what it was.
And the Jazz just don't have room for that kind of.
So he just went and signed a couple $200 million contracts and called it quits after age 30.
Boston fans, Charlotte fans, let us know how those contracts played out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys basically did us a favor there. But yeah, when it comes to that, so one thing I want to talk about when it comes to Larry Markkanen on the trade market, appreciate the comments, keep them coming. We want to address those as they come in, absolutely, for sure. One of the things when it comes to Larry Markkanen, actually, is that one?
That's a new one, yeah. Get it.
That's Aaron. Let's see here. They always get traded away, and then Hayward broke his ankle. I think the first game of the regular season, right after I talk about karma. Yeah, we definitely talked about that on a few episodes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
karma got him quick, Aaron.
Yeah, and he was never the same again after
that. No, never. But he still signed multiple $200 million contracts.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. And they also talked about potentially trading for him. I will have to say though, Pete Gordon Hayward, when he was with Boston about 2 years after the rehab, he would have been the ideal trade candidate to really push that Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley team over.
He would have been a good fit because of his 3-point shooting ability, and he is a good passer, and he's a solid defensive player. He would have fit in perfectly. But you're going to take Royce O'Neal's minutes, who's a lockdown defender in that position.
By that time, I think he's kind of lost his defensive edge, and became more of a spot up 3-point shooter. So I don't know. You still want to give him like role player minutes, not necessarily starting minutes for Royce O'Neal, but I digress on that. Let me go ahead and get back to it. One thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Larry Markkanen piece, though, is first of all, I don't agree. One of the main things that we talked about is that they blew it. They missed out on when his highest trade value was by not trading him this offseason, because he only was under contract for $18 million next year, right?
Right.
We bought out that year, and now he's on a 5-year deal, right? So worth $238 million. So I would actually disagree. The best time to trade Larry Markkanen was last offseason.
Yeah.
2 years of control, all-star starter for the West, basically. Team LeBron, all-star starter, right?
Yeah.
And he just came off of Most Improved Player of the Year award. And he had 2 years left of control.
Yeah.
At that time. So yeah. While everybody out there is saying, oh, they missed the best chance to trade him, he was never valued going to be higher. Guess what? The Jazz already passed that up the year prior. So that was not a solid argument. So I'm just going to go ahead and move past that for sure. Now, when it comes to the actual piece there, when it comes to what I think is the reason why the Jazz did not trade Larry Markkanen is two things. There are two things that in the NBA that hold value more than anything in the NBA, and that's size and shooting.
Yeah.
Larry Markkanen happens to be a 7-footer that shoots over 40% from three.
He's got both. Absolutely.
Exactly. He's not just a spot shooter either. He's not just a pick and pop guy. He is most efficient pick and roll bigs. He's one of the most efficient pick and roll bigs in the league. No matter what offense you drop him into, no matter what offensive scheme you drop him into, he fits right in. He's an all-star that doesn't need the ball in his hands. While he does,
that changes everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could put him on any team with that. And while he does have some issues from defensive side of things for a guy his size, his game is going to age very, very well because it's not relied on speed or athleticism. Oh, the guy is like friggin' jacked. If you ever get close to him, you're like, dude's huge.
Yeah.
5 years, $238 million, and the versatility to still be able to build any team you want around him, and he'll fit without alienating him. I lean this next to AK. Remember when we signed AK
absolutely.
after he became an all-star, we signed that massive max contract and it hindered the team forever.
Yeah.
In this case, it's a little different because he's not going to be what AK was.
No.
AK kind of need the ball in his hands a little bit to distribute and kind of
to do all the things that AK was really successful at. He had absolutely head up the ball.
Yeah. And on the defensive end, he was much more mobile and stuff like that. But for me, this is very similar. This is what is a no-brainer for me. Bottom line is he was more valuable to the Utah Jazz than any other team in the NBA, and that's why they didn't trade him.
Yep. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments.
We got a couple comments though. Hold on.
Okay, let's jump into them.
Karina said banana bread and Austin said banana bread. I just want to know, Karina, I'm expecting banana bread hopefully tomorrow. Austin, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Then McKinley had an actual other comment here. You guys could argue now that he's on a 5-year contract, 4 years of team control, and no options at the end of the contract might be worth more value next offseason if they want to trade him. You're absolutely right.
That's true.
The fact is if Laurie does have another breakout year, 4 years of team control is very valuable to someone looking to potentially trade for Laurie in that situation.
Yeah, it's also true. It's also really weird. This was the first one where it didn't tear down, though. When the Jazz buy out the last year of eligibility and they buy out the contract, it's front-loaded heavy and then tears down after that. This is the first time they didn't do that with that. This one actually does go up in contract value.
I think that the reason they did that is because they don't have any contracts from next year
Oh, that's true.
moving the other way, right? So like they almost need that to hit floor on some of these guys because they don't have anybody under contract at the end of next year.
Very, very true.
I mean, yeah, you've got a couple rookies that are technically on long-term contracts, but that's it.
Yeah,
So,
we got to bounce it back to the previous video where we talked about the CBA and how that changed everything when it comes to basketball.
yeah,
It basically made teams like the Golden State Warriors and teams like that impossible for them to operate when they operate at that max salary because of that second apron. And then on the same side, there's a salary floor now. We've got to pay somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And Laurie and the Jazz are okay with Laurie being that guy.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think when it comes to the Jazz not trading Larry Markkanen. Do you think it's a big deal that they kept him? Do you think it's not where are you at when it comes to this? Are you with us when it comes to the national media and all the other channels where they're talking about how they made the biggest mistake they could possibly make?
Nah.
Are you on our side there? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below. Golden State Warrior fans or any other team that potentially could have traded him to. Let us know what you think in the comments down below when it comes to Larry Markkanen. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. We sure do.
Now, since the Jazz have not traded Larry Markkanen and they, and he also cannot be traded based off of when he signed for the whole season.
Right.
Jazz's chances of getting the top pick has greatly dropped.
Yeah.
So who should the Jazz hope to target in this NBA draft?
So there's a couple guys. And again, like we said in the previous video, there's a lot of really talented hit coming into this next 2025 draft. I think the one that I probably like the most might be VJ Edgecombe. He's a 6'5" freshman from Baylor. He just played at the Olympic qualifiers with the Bahamas national team. Did you see this kid?
Yes.
Okay. Really, really, really talented. He's playing with, I think Buddy Hield was in this tournament.
Yep.
There was a couple. DeAndre Ayton was in this tournament, like playing for Bahamas. And this dude just balls out. 18 years old. He averages 16.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists per game while shooting 57% from the field. Got great bounce. This dude can absolutely just get up and onto the rim really, really quickly. He shoots the ball pretty well. Has a great knack for playmaking. He passes the ball well. He finishes really well through contact. Probably going to be a really, really special player. And he is projected to go in that 4 to 7 range, depending obviously on the year that he has a Baylor this year.
Oh, that's true. That's very, very true. All right. So that's your pick?
McKinley said, let's get another Baylor kid on the team. Agreed.
Spot on.
Agreed.
Spot on. I like it. I like it. All right. So do you know who I think the Jazz should target in the draft this year?
Who you got?
Cooper Flagg.
Okay. Run it.
Okay.
Let's hear.
Okay. So in the last 10 years, the media has only been right this early on the top pick 3 times in the last 10 years.
Really?
Yes. So, and that's with a no-doubter generational talent, Victor Wembanyama being one of those 3.
Right.
So in the last 10 years, they've only been right 3 times.
In the preseason prediction.
In the this early.
Okay.
This early in the going into it.
Yeah.
They've only been right 3 times. And in those 3 times, one of them was Victor. So technically that's a no-brainer. So 2 out of the last 9 years, they've been right on who should be the number 1 pick going into next year's
Do you know
draft.
who the other 2 were? Do you have them?
Jaleel Okafor. No, he wasn't one. Yeah, no.
Might have been Jaleel Okafor.
Jaleel Okafor and Zion were the other 2.
And Zion was like a freak that was, everybody knew was going on for. He was number 1 through the draft picks the whole season.
By the way, have you seen him? Have you seen the news of Skinny Zion?
Yeah.
The goal is for him to get 10 pounds lighter than he had at Duke.
Well, and I heard that the Pelicans were really worried about Zion's weight, man, because he was getting beefy.
It was in his contract.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get him lower than his playing weight when he was at Duke. So he has a lot more of the season to ramp up. Because what happens is he'll get a ticky-tack injury, then he'll gain weight,
Yeah.
So getting him in the lowest possible weight before the season starts, then giving him time.
Then with your ticky-tack injuries, you'll be up to actual playing weight.
Yeah. So I think it's a good thing.
But just run it down.
So
run it down, Zion.
So yeah, I believe those are them. But when it comes to that, those are the players that were the no-doubters. The picks that they had. The other 7 out of 10, they were wrong, man.
Yeah.
They were completely wrong. And, one thing the media likes to do is it likes to generate clicks, likes to generate more clicks by tearing people down than it is by building somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a whole year at Duke where he has to live up to the expectations that he's already generated
That's such a great point,
by
dude.
balling out against Team USA in the practice squad and showing all he can do. He's got a year that he has to hold that up with.
Yeah.
He also, and so, like I said, it's plenty of, and then the way the media is, they want to have that catchy headline. They're going to try to find a reason to tear this guy down.
Yep.
It doesn't take much. I mean, look at all the negative interviews and stuff, like the negative stuff they said about Victor Wembanyama, about his inability to play and his fragility and stuff like that.
And I think the fact is like Cooper Flagg very much relies on his shot to be the effective player that he is. And it doesn't take long to go 4 for 10 in a game. And everyone's like, no, he's done. He doesn't have a chance.
Yeah. So some are saying the smart money is going to be on the French three-peating for the top position in the draft, which would be Nolan Traore.
I saw that last name, and that's the reason I didn't even put him in my top 2.
Like, nope. But anyway, so he's the highest touted guard coming out of France since Tony Parker. He's a 6'5" guard with a 6'8" wingspan. He has the size and speed and passing ability and the ability to guard multiple positions 1 through 3.
Yeah.
So he's more than likely going to be one of the options there. And there's also Ace Bailey. He's a highly touted.
Ace Bailey is my preferred pick. I think you need a number 1 that can create his own shot and offense. Ace has the highest ceiling, in my opinion. I like Flagg. Amazing defense.
Yep, exactly.
Thanks, McKinley. We both got lines on Ace Bailey. Run yours.
Okay, so Ace Bailey can also is also a highly touted pick, and he's got a lot of comps to Coop.
Yeah.
They've been
great size.
They've been similarly compared based off of size, athleticism, and on ball potential. Basically,
right?
They've been almost matched, almost 1 for 1 for that. He could easily have a better season than Cooper and easily take over that number 1 spot in the draft. And he's also going to be going up against less
because he's playing at Rutgers.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, there's 2 players right there, and you mentioned a third that could potentially have a better season than Cooper Flagg, and then he can obviously easily fall into 3 or 4 position, which the Jazz, if they are one of the top 5 worst teams in the NBA, would have a lot better shot of landing 2 through 4 than they do landing the number 1 overall pick.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly where I think the Utah Jazz are going to fall.
Yep.
So my bold prediction, Utah Jazz are picking Cooper Flagg.
I love that, actually. And that's such a great point, especially like I love that you pulled the statistics to see how far back they've actually been accurate with the number 1 pick, because it's true. At the beginning of the season, you have no idea who's actually going to go into. A lot of these kids are super successful in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the district you're playing in high school, like you may be the best player in the whole state.
Oh yeah.
I mean, most of these guys are, right? Like most of these guys are most likely the best player in the whole state, and they end up going to Baylor or North Carolina or Duke, and then they have to go there and produce. And then that's when you see, okay, are they actually NBA level talent if they can go to Duke and dominate and still be that force?
Exactly. He's going to go to Duke, and he's going to, probably have some transition issues there, when it comes to that.
And that's a tough basketball conference. That's a tough basketball program. Like you really have got to be on your game every single day to make sure that you're there. McKinley said, don't know if Flagg can be number 1 on offense, which means it is. I can't read that.
What's that? Nesselub? I don't know what that says there, McKinley.
Oh, I think he actually did the phonetic spelling, which is Nesselub.
Oh, for the French guy?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this, just like I said, I just think there's a strong opportunity for him to fall in the draft. There are already people that are saying that Cooper Flagg will not be the number 1 pick of the draft. It's already coming out. AM Hoops, big shout out to AM Hoops, by the way. Terrific follow. He does a lot of great NBA content.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's also not picking Cooper Flagg to go first either. There's a lot of other, medias that are already jumping on this train about saying that he's not going to be the top prospect of the draft. So it's already happening, and we haven't even camp hasn't even started for college basketball yet. So
yeah, absolutely,
we've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So I just definitely think it's possible. Do you have anything on Ace Bailey that you wanted to talk about?
I just want, the notes that I have, and I watched actually some tape on Ace Bailey because I was really intrigued when I saw that he was kind of in the top 2 or 3. So I pulled it up and started watching some of his high school ball. And the kid's just a great self-creator. He's a great shot maker. He's got probably the truest shooting form of any of the players that are currently in the projected top 10. He has a lot of skills that you really just can't teach. The kid's 6'10". This year at Rutgers, like you said, he's going to be playing against not ACC level talent,
Right.
and it's going to give him an opportunity to really shine. I think it also gives him a huge opportunity to put the ball in his hands and really showcase his talent to NBA scouts. I think that's very, very important. And I think that if he can become an efficient scorer while he's there and show that he can put the ball in the hoop and he can create his own shot, yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to have a chance to be that number 1, number 2 pick. And I think that's my kind of concern is if the Jazz do land 5-6, he's probably going to be gone.
Right.
So, but he is that good. So,
yeah. And, I'm thinking the Jazz are going to buck the trend. I think we're going to get a number 3 pick overall or number 2 pick. We've had bad draft luck our entire, history when it comes to the team. And I just think this is going to be the time we're going to buck it. And I really think the Jazz have a good shot of landing the 2nd or 3rd pick in the draft this year. And I think it's going to be potentially that Cooper Flag's not going to be the number 1 overall pick, and it's going to slide. I love it because there are some really talented kids coming into this draft. And as long as they have good seasons and continue to be efficient basketball players, I think the Jazz are going to get a great player if we can land into that 4 to 6 range for sure. So McKinley mentioned when it comes to that last one, he mentioned the word was necessary. So I don't know if Flag can be a number one offense, which it would be necessary to win a championship in today's league. 100% absolutely agree with you there on that one. Cooper Flag probably will not be a number 1 option on that one. Just simply because as you've seen in his high school years where I don't know. I just don't think his shot is quick enough for him to be the number 1 option. I don't think his release times. Markkanen's release time is much faster. You've got a 7-foot big in Larry Markkanen that can shoot the 3, 40% from 3. You also will have one of these. We're going to have several different players that we're going to get out of these. 5 or 6 first-year players that we have practically. Where we're going to have some talent. Basically, what I want to see in this one is if they do get Cooper Flag, the next goal, the next target would be a all-star level point guard.
Yep.
Ball distributor that can really stretch the floor and get these guys open.
Yep.
So that's basically what I would see. I think, yes, absolutely, Cooper Flag's not going to be number 1, but if we can get an elite point guard, all-star level point guard that is a traditional point guard like we have with Markkanen, just maybe a little bit younger and a little bit more size, I think the Jazz would have an awesome trio that could really push to contend for a championship.
I think we got one.
We do.
Yeah.
You think Keontae's the guy?
I think Keontae's the guy, man.
I don't know, man. Danny Ainge doesn't even have confidence in him as being a point guard.
Well, that's why me and Danny disagree on that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
next time we have him over for
when Danny calls me, I'm going to tell him Keontae's the guy. Give him the ball, put it in his hands, let him shoot it.
I like it. But yeah, definitely. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the Utah Jazz. Who do you think the Utah Jazz should go after when it comes to this year's draft? Are we going to be bad enough to even be in the top 5 with Larry Markkanen on the team? We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below. We would love to hear from you. As a reminder, folks, we did just launch Utah Jazz DNA. This is our channel specifically for Utah Jazz content. If you're watching this on this channel, please feel free to subscribe to the channel if this is the type of content you're looking for. Also hit that notification bell because what we are going to be doing is giving away one of those cool new Utah jerseys, those black jerseys that they just announced. We'll be giving one of those away once we hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So if you're watching that on this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. And also, folks, if you're watching this on our main channel, the link to Utah Jazz DNA will be in the description below. Somewhere around there. He's just Vanna whining the heck out of it right here. I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, so once again, folks, let us know. Obviously in the chat, you guys have probably been the most interactive we've seen in a long time. So yeah, definitely keep it going. For sure. We love to hear all of it from you guys there. We also have another one from McKinley there. Hopefully Keontae has plenty of game time this year and improves this year to improve and find out if he can be a starting level point guard or just a 2 guard with some playmaking. Yeah, great point. By the way, we need to get a much bigger screen here so we can see that.
We do. We need about a 55-inch monitor to put that thing on.
Yeah, we definitely got to do something with
that.
So I could read, guys. I passed 5th grade.
It's just really far away.
It's really far away, really small to see. So it's just
I wonder if you can make that screen bigger.
You can make the screen bigger, but when you do that, it'll take away the comment section. I won't be able to see it anymore. So
that doesn't really do us any good there, does it?
No. So it's gonna wait, hang on a second here. Can we one more thing here? Sorry, chat. Deal with bear with us here. Did we hide the chat? Show the chat? Nope, nothing there. Okay. But yeah, so we can make it full screen, but we can't see the chat. Maybe we should like pull it up on our things.
I think that's what we always talked about, and then we never do it.
And then we never do it.
It's
we never
fine.
do it. But yeah. So once again, folks, appreciate it. We also, if you are joining us on the live stream here, DNA Sports Recap did just hit 1,000 subscribers, so we deeply appreciate that.
Thank you
Very much so. We're going to be giving the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. So if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each, just as our way of saying thank you for getting us here, man. This is your guys' channel, and we're just hosting it, so we really appreciate that. Keep showing that support, and we'll definitely continue to do giveaways. Right now, it's just straight up cash that we're going to be giving away, probably Venmo or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, most likely. That's probably the easiest way.
Yeah, because we got some people who are in Finland, some in
all over the place, man.
Yeah, we got some subscribers from all over the place, which is pretty cool. Super cool. So we're going to definitely figure it out. We're probably going to give away, I don't know, tickets, maybe a whiskey bottle or something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So just keep it coming, man. We're going to continue doing this because, again, we just love the interaction with you guys. So keep it coming. But yeah, so let's see here. We also have a comment there from McKinley there. Says, in fact, hopefully we see rookies on the floor for a majority of the time. These games.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I also see a phantom IL stint for Larry Markkanen. I mean, I don't believe how many games both him and Jordan Clarkson were actually hurt in the last 15 games of the season.
Especially because Jordan looked just fine this whole offseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it didn't look hurt at all.
Yeah, so I'd be really interested to see if that kind of stuff happens. Take a rest day, don't play him on back-to-backs. You're going to see a lot of low.
And the fact is, he's now a $200 million man. Why would you risk him in any of those situations when you're not trying to win ball games? If you're not trying to win ball games.
That's the other thing is we still don't know. After all this, we still don't know what Utah's game plan is going to be for this next year.
No, nobody does.
Why'd you go after Murray? Why'd you go after DeRozan? Why'd you go after
Paul George?
Yeah, and then Mikal Bridges. They went after. Oh, they also tried to get Drew Holiday last year.
Yeah,
on a team that was about to fully tank. So why are we going so hard after all these players if your goal is to not play well next year?
Right.
I'm not getting it. So we would love to have some clarity from the front office there, the Utah Jazz. So next time you meet with Danny Ainge, make sure you get some clarity for us.
I will. I'll talk to him. I'll keep you guys updated for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to find out more about that. But let's go ahead and pivot on over to Major League Baseball, shall we?
Let's do it.
Picked the wrong time to take a drink there.
You did, but we're back. We're back. Darren's back. I'm back. We're both back.
We're here.
Yes.
Once again, folks, if you are watching this, before we get into content, folks, we want to thank you all for making us hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. If you have not been subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are doing a giveaway. The first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue are going back to y'all. So if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each. So make sure if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Just our way of saying thanks to you folks for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. We really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. We do have a backtracking comment though.
Let's do it.
Hope you guys have seen the schedule for this year? The first 30 games are brutal. And because they are starting the hockey team franchise for December 3rd, it's all road games. Yes.
I did see that. I also heard that the first 21 out of the 30 games that we have are going to be teams that were either in the playoffs or in the play-in or better playoff teams out of that.
It could be a really rough season.
It's going to be a rough start to the year, just like last year. And obviously, again,
they do have a long home stretch in January, though, I do believe.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
So it must be flip-flop. That's when Utah hockey goes on the road.
Yeah.
So the Jazz going to have a nice homestand. But I mean, some of the turnover, dude, it's literally like basketball, hockey, basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be the first year where we're going to have a dual professional sports team playing at the same building.
Yeah.
And, something we're just going to get used to. It used to been, the Jazz played there. And then when they were out of town, there was concerts. Now are the Jazz and the hockey team out of town? Then we can have a concert, so it's just going to be, different. It's going to be
the only time it would be available.
Yeah. It's going to be
Maverick Center.
Unique. Yeah, there you go. No, we got the Grizzlies playing there, so we can't.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. By the way, folks, check out our previous video where we discussed the potential of the Utah Grizzlies becoming the ECHL affiliate of your Utah Hockey Club.
Great video. Great work on that, Darren. It's a really good video.
Thank you. Appreciate it. In case you haven't noticed, guys, we do our own editing. We haven't,
Yeah, no, that it's just us.
It's just us.
Yeah, you're looking at the editing team here.
You look at the editing team. Yeah, exactly. Great.
The research team.
Yeah, exactly. So please come at us in the comments to let us know how we screw things up, because we'll
and then we also have full-time jobs.
Yeah, we'll also cheers to you on how much we care about the fact that we misspelled, a team's name or forgot which city they're from. So cheers to you on that one. Anyway, so let's get into some baseball talk, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm a Dodgers fan.
You are. Wait, are you?
Yeah. I think it's been well documented on this channel. If it hasn't been, we will get into it in a little bit.
If not, we'll discuss it in just a second.
We will discuss it. We'll be clear on that. I'm a Dodgers fan. You're a Braves fan.
I am. Go Braves.
How many games have you watched this year that was not a Braves game?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Not including the WBC.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, now me as a baseball fan, that's one of the main sports that I'm interested in. I have seen a few more now, but what makes you watch a game that isn't okay? Let me rephrase that. That's not a Dodgers game either.
Okay, maybe 1 or 2.
Okay. Okay, so perfect point there. Okay, so do you know what makes me tune into a game when my favorite team is not playing?
I want to see who the starting pitchers are.
It's the matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And like my personally is I'm 100% like, if I see a starting pitcher, I'm like, I want to see this guy. You know what I mean? Like the Braves got him in 2 weeks. I want to see what he's like, how he throws.
Paul Skeen's debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a must watch if you're even a mild baseball fan. Garrett Cole versus Tarek Skubal, Blake Snell versus Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
It just when you have these elite matchups, when these things kind of come up,
it draws you in. You want to see that.
It draws you in.
Yeah.
That is what the casual baseball fan or the fan of another team is going to do to watch another game.
Yep.
Is you want to see that matchup. You
100%.
want to see that starting pitching matchup.
Yep.
So MLB is wanting to introduce a new rule called the 6th inning rule, meaning players. Well, actually, you have some information on this. Why don't you go ahead and run it?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the starting pitcher needs to pitch a minimum of 6 innings. And I mean, there's some caveats to it, right? If they can be pulled if they hit 100 pitches before the 6 inning mark, if they have 4 or more earned runs before the 6 inning mark, or if the player sustains any type of injury, potentially going on to the IL, like there's some kind of back and forth on how they're going to monitor injuries, because everyone will just be injured for 1 game. Yeah,
basically it must follow at least an immediate IL stint.
Right.
So they have to go on the IL. They can't just be pulled away and have it be manipulating that whole rule there.
So I'm curious, how do you feel about the MLB introducing a 6 inning minimum for starting pitchers? Is it a yes for you? Yes, do you want to see it? Or is it a no for you?
I'm torn on this one, man.
I am actually exactly the same.
I'm torn on this one.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go ahead and break it down.
I've actually got responses for both.
Okay, me too. So we're gonna dive into this because this is a hot topic here. So this is the official statement coming from official from MLB that told ESPN, we are interested in increasing the amount of action in a game and restoring the prominence of the starting pitchers and reducing the prevalence of pitcher injuries. There's a whole host of options in addressing those issues, the official said there. So what they were trying to do when it comes to this rule, what they're going to do is implement the double hook rule. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, so the double hook rule means that if you pull your starter before the 6th inning, you will forfeit your DH for the remainder of the game. That's how the 6 inning minimum rule is going to be. If you pull them out, you lose your DH, and then whatever pitcher you put in is going to have to bat.
Oh, I love that.
So what the heck was the point of bringing the DH to the National League in the first place if you're going to do this?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, there's something that they've already tested last season, the Atlantic League last year. Interesting enough, both the MLB and the Atlantic League have announced this season that the Stars can complete 5 innings without while still retaining their DH. So they're already backing it back an inning.
Okay.
So you don't have to go through the 6th inning. You just have to complete 5. This is something we talked about previously. Justin Verlander mentioned it earlier this year when we started seeing all these pitchers starting to drop like flies during the preseason. he mentioned something like this, like a 6th inning minimum. You know what a quality start is?
No.
It's when you go 6 innings and allow 3 or less runs. That's
Okay.
what a quality start is considered.
Okay.
And that's something you just don't really see in baseball anymore.
Right.
You know, pitchers make it to the 5th inning and then they're pulled, regardless of pitch count. So when it comes to what I want to see outside of watching my Dodgers or you watching your Braves, this rule is perfect.
Yeah.
This will keep the starting pitchers in there. It'll increase offense. And yeah, I like it. This is a comment coming from Seth Lugo. He says, I do that anyway, with a smirk on his face. All of us want to go at least 6 innings. That's coming from Seth Lugo, by the way.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about which TV's on because that team isn't getting any views, so we're not going to talk about the team. You mentioned the exceptions there. I don't know, man. I'm torn both ways. I do see positives on both sides, and I also do see negatives. The negatives on this one is that you are good at the Players Association may not agree to this one. It's maybe something that MLB might have to introduce because you're getting rid of jobs possibly by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, because you think at some point you're gonna have to probably like reduce back. I mean, bullpen sizes and
if you have every starter's going 6 innings practically, then you're not going to need many relievers.
Yeah, you're not going to need a whole truckload of relievers anymore.
We already got rid of the lefty specialist where they have to do the whole, they can't just bring in a pitcher for a lefty, and then the 3-hitter minimum rule that came in 2 years ago already kind of skirt-tailed that, and they were upset about that because they lost a bunch of jobs. This is going to be something that's very similar to that. We got a comment from Tammy, friend of the channel. Let's see. Nope, hate the hook and contributes too much to injuries. See here. Okay. Nope, hate the hook and contributes much more to injuries. Okay. Now, are you saying that it continues too much on injuries on the pitchers having to bat, or you're saying the starting pitchers having to go that long is going to cause injuries? Need some clarification on that from you, Tammy. Now, when it comes to that here, we also have McKinley jumping in there that says, does this mean you don't have the funny highlights of players struggling to hit crappy pitches?
From outfielders? Those are my favorite. Yeah. I am on the same page as you. I absolutely love when you bring in any like standard player that starts pitching when it's a blowout. Like, oh, those are the best. I'm with you.
Fun fact, through the month of June, the end of July, month of June, and beginning of April, through that like 6-week period, position players had the lowest ERA.
I believe it. It's really hard to hit a 50-mile-an-hour fastball.
They had a lower ERA than the rest of combined ERA for the rest of relieving.
You know what they need to do though is like they need to bring this like the position players in for like a full inning. You know what I mean? Like let them see 5-6 hitters and then wait to bring in like, and then the next pitcher they see is throwing 97. They're like, what do you want to do with this?
Yeah. I love those. So it's going to be interesting there. So let's talk about, so give me your positives.
Okay. So why we would consider it?
Yeah.
I mean, it does this, considering it does allow pitchers to focus more on having good movements with, it takes them away from the ability to just have to throw velocity after velocity on top of velocity. So it is going to make them, and I think you're going to see more guys in the league that are probably throwing high 80s, low 90s, but they have, pitches with a lot of movement. They have a lot of off-speed stuff. They have a solid 90-mile-an-hour fastball and then a 77-mile-an-hour changeup.
Right.
I think you're going to see a lot more of that if this does go into effect, because you're not going to need guys that can throw, because most guys aren't going to be able to throw 97, 98 for 6 innings.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
But the problem on the flip side of that is guys that do throw 97, 98, I think you're going to see more injuries on those guys because now you're asking them to throw 6 innings versus 3 or 4.
Well, that's kind of my point, though, is that on the positive side, I think this actually fixes the whole issue itself when it comes to the injury issue when it comes to baseball.
Yeah.
Right now, it's all about velocity.
100%.
It's about
just can you throw it past them?
Grip it and rip it.
Yep.
Throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. We'll pull you out before you have to see the line of the third time, because by then they've timed up your fastball, and then it doesn't matter what breaking ball you throw.
Absolutely,
they will just hit the fast. They'll sit on it.
They'll just wait,
and they'll know they'll get it.
Yep.
So they're not going to let you go through this 3rd inning. If pitchers that could throw gas, like your Jacob deGrom, second Tommy John, Paul Skeens, hopefully, say your Hail Marys and light a candle, so he never has to have the bread of DJ.
Yeah.
But these pitchers who go out there and throw gas, they're going to have to figure out a way to Dial it back. Throw a 94 mile an hour pinpoint fastball in the corner. Paint. Do a little bit of Greg Maddux. Throw
Love
some paint
this.
jobs there.
Love
and
this.
then, you know, when you need to, ramp it up to 99 as a put away pitch.
Yeah.
You don't need to throw, you know, 15 pitches, triple digits every game.
But at this point, you're still going way over what your typical pitch count's going to be, most likely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you have these guys that are in there that only do 2-3 innings, you're going to need them to throw 6 probably.
And they'll be able to throw 6 because they're not going for max velocity the whole time.
And as long as that's the case, absolutely.
And then what's that going to do is that's going to trickle down, because then what scouts are going to be noticing is going to be more about accuracy, command.
Correct.
And then we're not going to be prioritizing velocity from high school on up.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be more about, can this person locate their pitches
and actually throw strikes
for at least 6 innings. Right now, the reason why we're in this situation is the league wide, the ERA for a player third time through a lineup is more than 100 points above the second time.
It's insane.
So that third time through the lineup, they don't want you facing him.
Exactly.
And that's because over the last 20 years, it's been velo.
Yep.
Do you have a velo? Do you have a pitch with movement? And do you have an off-speed pitch? Those, you just need 3 pitches to be, you know, lights out in this league. And then, you know,
and you find a tunnel and you throw it in there 3 times.
Yeah. And you just go for it. Right.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just, I think this is going to would fix, to me, in the grand scheme of things, would fix the whole max velocity if you're expected to go, you know, 6 innings.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to throw as hard as you possibly can, because you're going to want to get to that point, and you're going to want to prove in college, in the minors, and, you know, with the big leagues that you can.
You've got some longevity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my question here is do you think people watch baseball for offense or for defense?
I think they watch baseball for offense.
Offense. Because, I mean, if that's the case, then this 6 inning minimum could be absolutely perfect to increase offense. Because the fact is if you're if you are a pitcher, by the time you are in the 5th and 6th inning, you may be 2 to 3 times through the lineup at that point.
Right.
Depending on how the game goes, you might just be getting through 1.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is if you're reducing velocity or you're starting to get tired or worn down, the 5th, 6th innings could be a time where heydays start happening.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're way past your standard pitch count, especially when they first initially introduced this rule. You could have guys that are way past their initial pitch counts that are throwing almost garbage.
Right.
And guys could just be absolutely raking in the 5th and 6th innings.
Yeah.
So that could be pro offense for sure.
Yeah. And let me reemphasize, I think the casual fan watches the game for offense.
Correct. They want to see balls hit far.
Yeah. People who are into baseball, into watching these pitchers duels, are perfectly fine with a 0-0 game going in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
You know, because then it just completely opens
Unless
up.
it's my team that's 0.
Yeah. That completely opens up the other side of the game, which is, by the way, what's the most important rule for a stat for an MVP?
Got to steal bases, baby.
Exactly. So when you're stealing bases, when you get a runner on, that runner on first becomes super valuable, because all you're trying to do is get them over to second base as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Especially if you got no outs and you can 2 flyouts, you can get a runner in, bring it.
Yeah. Get him over to second, you know, and then, you know, get us, you know, hit a fly out to third, sacrifice him over. And then all you got to do is just hit a long fly ball.
I vote bunt him in every single time.
Oh, dude, bring back the bunt game.
Bring back the bunt game.
You know,
you're not bunting a 97 mile an hour fastball. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. The only thing I think that is going to hurt is that, again, it just hurts the fact that we are pulling the DH after we just introduced it to the National League.
Yeah.
Really, that's kind of my only downfall there. There are some statements there coming from the Cubs general manager, Carter Hawkins, where he says the genie's out of the bottle when it comes to max velo. I'm not sure that's one you can put back in no matter what the rule. Yeah, man, I have to say I kind of agree with that there, but I do think this is something where you're convincing pitchers not to throw as hard for as long as you can, get them to get through 6 innings. Reinforce that whole starter mentality, which will just mean higher paychecks for the players, for those starting pitchers.
I agree.
I just think it's, you know, this is kind of the direction the league needs to go. I think this is a win-win all around. Yeah, that we're going to lose some reliever positions there in the scheme of things, but you know, a lot of these folks are just starting pitchers that failed because they couldn't throw 97 miles an hour in the first place. So,
right.
You know, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think if you're trying to statistically move things, right? If you're trying to actually make a move that's going to put pitchers in a better position, this isn't the one. I don't think this is putting pitchers in any better position to not get hurt, because some of these guys are not going to stop throwing max velocity the whole time. And going max velocity for 6 innings, you're going to tear your arm up. You know what I mean? You're going to see injuries increase. I think it's almost a backwards way of saying you have to go longer. Don't throw as hard. These guys are professional athletes. You kidding me? I'm going to go out there and throw it as hard as I can for 6 innings.
Yeah, well, I just think the league's going to weed those people out.
And I think that's what the rule would be designed for. But at what cost is it? You know what I mean? Is it really worth, like, you've got some excellent pitching talent that throws 3-4 innings in some of these games, and that's all they do.
Yeah,
and they can throw 97 for 4 innings.
Yeah, and then what are you doing for the rest of the game?
You're clicking
off. No, you're clicking off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That you came to see that.
The game. Yeah. Are you watching that Pirates game?
No,
not
a chance.
You know.
Yeah.
So you know,
especially because the Pirates are probably getting hammered after Skeens comes out.
Exactly. They don't have a very good bullpen. But to me, that's kind of what I'm thinking there. I'm thinking, like, yes, it makes sense. The pitchers who just refuse to pull back. I mean, there's plenty of pitchers. If you go back, you know, Greg Max never threw over 93, 94.
No.
But he would throw the ball harder in a situation where he needed to.
Absolutely.
When the Dodgers won the 2020 World Series, Julio Urias, his fastball was always around 93, 94 miles an hour. But in that last pitch to throw a strike to win that, he threw it 97.8 miles per hour.
Right.
You'll reach back. You'll find more gas when you need to use it. I'm thinking a lot of these pitchers who do have a pitch mix, who do plan on going longer in the games, will become the dominant stars that everybody wants to see, because they can go 6 or 7 innings and perform well. Yeah, you want to see a guy throw triple digits. But is it more exciting to see a guy throw triple digits when he's doing a knockout punch to strike out a guy, or when he's doing it at an 0-0 count to start every inning? It loses its muscle.
Not as much fire on it there, huh?
You're just like, okay, great. Now you're 0-1, but you missed the strike zone, and now he's senior heater.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is better.
Now you're timed up and it was a ball.
Yeah.
So now your next one's going to be a strike and he's got you timed up.
It's going to speed up the game too. That's one thing that not a lot of people are talking about. This is going to be less pitch changes. So less time when the
I do love that.
Throwing.
I do love that.
You're going to see pitchers focus on developing more pinpoint pitches versus going max velo at a younger age. So I do think you're going to see the velocity drop down.
I think I worry about that, because when you start saying you're going to need more pinpoint pitches, more curveballs and stuff, that's the stuff that tears up your elbow. Yeah, I mean, when you're throwing off-speed pitches and curveballs and sliders, and that's the stuff that gets your elbow. It's not just throwing it as hard as you can most of the time. It's everything you're doing to snap your wrist.
Yeah, it's sweepers and it's change-ups that are really kind of hurting your arms. But in that case, if you can pinpoint it with a 93 mile an hour fastball, and you can keep people off balance,
you're going to see a different level of athletes be able to make it in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think there's downsides. Don't get me wrong. I do think there's downsides to this, but I don't think that MLB is going to go back on the pitch clock anytime soon. We need to find another way.
The pitch clock.
Yeah, that's speeded up the game. But again, that's what pitchers want to get rid of. But do you want to sit through a 4-hour game?
No.
You know, but I also don't want to see people going down with elbow injuries anymore. So I think this is a great way to say, okay, let's let this ride for 4 or 5 years. See if we start to see a drop in elbow injuries.
And I think that's the question, is will it make it 4 or 5 years? Because that's how long it would take to actually rotate through some of the pitching talent to get guys used to actually throwing 6 innings.
If you want your contract, if you want that contract, you're going to figure out a way to make sure that you're making it 6 innings without getting hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's still going to take a couple of years for it to be effective, though.
Yeah. Just like the sticky stuff ban. Pitchers had to figure it out real fast how to do it without sticky stuff.
And pitchers are great again.
Yeah. And they figured it out. Took a year, but they figured it out. So I don't know, man. I think there's more to it to come on this. I think we're going to definitely hear more. There's other things that people are suggesting when it comes to that, like when it comes to relief pitching, make a 5 batter minimum versus, just 3, which will allow you to, incentivize your starting pitcher to go longer when you know that the relief pitcher has to pitch to at least 5 batters, regardless of whether or not that inning ended or not. I think that would also incentivize things. There's just a few things here and there. Just the double hook thing is just kind of interesting because, if all of a sudden you pull your starter and now you have to have what you're going to do is pull your reliever, put in a pinch hitter to bat for the reliever because you have to change out that guy again.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a little bit more strategy when it comes to that, which is something that I miss in the National League when not having a DH.
Agreed.
You had a runner on first and second, 2 outs. Do you pull your starter with a chance to get a run in when he's just throwing gas, right? We're
Yeah.
just dropping dimes, So I don't know. I think it'd be a little bit fun. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. No, I'm curious. I'm going to follow this one pretty closely.
Yeah.
And we absolutely want you guys to tune in. Let us know what you think. How does the 6 inning minimum affect your team?
Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you on that. Is the 6 inning minimum rule you think is a good idea, bad idea? We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, because we'd love to hear from you on that. Now, before we get out of here, there's one more thing I want to talk about, which is last week we did talk about the hottest team in baseball, which was the Cleveland Guardians, which was quite surprising to see that. Good job, Guardians, for continuing to plug away there. On our way out here, let's go ahead and talk about the hottest team in baseball this week, shall we?
Yes.
Okay. So now with that said, it's not necessarily the hottest team in baseball. It's just the best team in baseball right now, which is going to be a team with a record of 75-52. And that team is your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Your Los Angeles Dodgers, not mine.
With the best winning percentage of .591, they are 7-3 in their last 10. And they are doing this as the most injury-ridden team in baseball. The Los Angeles Dodgers have more days on the IL than any other team in Major League Baseball,
which is crazy.
Yeah, and they have the best record. I don't think they're going to have a team hit triple digits in wins. If they do, it's going to be 100. We're not going to see a 106-win team or a 103-win team this year, I don't think. But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, and they're almost healthy, man. I mean, this was the first week that we've had Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Max Muncy, and Teoscar Hernandez all in the same lineup since like month 1 of the season.
And how'd they look?
Oh, they look great.
Yeah.
First 2 games back, Max Muncy hit a bomb in each game.
Saw that. Yeah.
Teoscar Hernandez just being one of the best hitters, practically carrying this team. Gavin Lux has literally been one of the best hitters in baseball since June. Really proving the naysayers wrong there. Gavin Stone, who threw a shutout a few starts ago, also did a career high in 10 strikeouts in couple games ago. King Kershaw, 6 scoreless innings in one of his best starts of the year so far. And then, I just think the Dodgers are playing with a little bit more urgency with the fact that the Diamondbacks and the Padres are literally 3 and 4 games back, respectively.
Yeah.
This team is finally coming together. We still have an IL all-star starting rotation on the IL. Glass now went down. Ryan River went down. We have Yamamoto, who's down. Shohei Ohtani
is Yamamoto going to make it back this year?
We're hoping he's going to get like 2 or 3 starts in before the playoffs start.
Okay, so yeah,
he is throwing a bullpen. He pitched in a simulated game, I believe, yesterday. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so the Los Angeles Dodgers, man, great, best team in baseball right now.
Question: what is a simulated game?
It's basically when you kind of go out there and you just play against the rest of the team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on an off day, you just go up there and people simulate.
You just go out and pitch.
You just go out and pitch.
People are acting like they're hitting.
You're like, okay, no, they'll actually hit. It's like,
okay.
It's like their BP. They'll actually like, okay, they'll shut down, and then they'll start the next inning. Okay, we have a runner on second now and 1 out. Let's go ahead and, so they run through scenarios and stuff like that. So simulated games are basically just like a game. You're just playing against your own team, and it's typically not too crazy where they're taking things a little bit carefully. So, but yeah, super exciting, man. Glad to see the Dodgers actually play in, meaningful baseball, in the last month of the season. I think that's been the biggest problem for the Dodgers the last 3 or 4 years is that when it comes to this time of year, they don't have to try anymore. They have the best record in the National League typically, and they're at least 15 games up in their division. So they're not really playing meaningful baseball, and then they can't just turn it on, flip a switch, and all of a sudden play with the level of intensity they need to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So exactly what I think about when it comes to your Braves. I think the Braves are in the perfect position right now. They have the last seat in the wild card, which, by the way, we probably should talk about that next year.
We probably should.
Yeah, talk about the Braves a little bit when it comes.
They need to keep winning. They got the Phillies tonight. Hopefully
they won yesterday.
They did win yesterday.
Yeah, so I think they're in a perfect position. They've won their division, and by 3 or 4, 5, 6 games, and they get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Now they're holding on for dear life for that last playoff position.
They need to keep winning.
And if they win that spot and go into the playoffs, they'll be exactly where the Phillies have been the last 2 years. The last wild card team that somehow finds a way to make it to the playoffs. So we'll love to see it. But yeah, we want to hear
that.
Yeah, you good with that? Let's talk about it next. Let's talk about the Braves a little bit more next week.
Let's do it.
All right, folks. We want to hear from you, folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about what we talked about. Are you a Dodgers fan? Are you a Braves fan? Do you hate the Dodgers? Do you love the Dodgers? Do you hate the Braves?
Do you love the Braves?
Do you hate the Braves?
Only if you love the Braves.
You
Only
know.
comment if you love the Braves.
We love to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the hottest team in baseball. You know, there are plenty of teams that are about a game away, so this could all change by the time this video goes live. So we'll see. Probably want to make this part to a video, so we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, folks, that not all this makes it to the videos that we make. So make sure that you watch the live stream. Tune in for the live stream. We do this every Wednesday or Thursday-ish.
Should be Wednesday.
It should be Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll see. Life happens, folks. So we'll see about that. But make sure you guys tune in for that. We'll definitely talk more. So if you want to see everything we talked about, make sure you tune into the live stream that we're doing. And for those of you who did turn in, we deeply appreciate it. Once again, folks, we would like to appreciate you for tuning into this episode of the DNA Sports Recap. If you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell.
Hit it.
We are giving away the first $500 that we earn in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. Yes, that's right. We're giving it back to our subscribers. So if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. If you have subscribed, just go ahead and double check, make sure that it's clicked down there. You know,
do it.
Just make sure it's there because we would hate for you guys to miss out on that one. But yeah, so again, let us know. Once again, just subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you. Talk about it later. You do your part. I just got lost in my thoughts there.
If you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio only. Make sure you rate it. Make sure you reviewed it. We appreciate all your guys' engagement.
Absolutely. Not everything we talk about makes it to a video or to what we post on YouTube. So everything is from start to end is on that podcast. So make sure you check it out for sure. With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ. And this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time. If Darren can find the button.
I can find the button. Appreciate it. Thanks everybody tuning in on the live stream. Love the engagement this time.